like being around.
It's called Louis Vuitton Imagination.
Do you know that perfumes actually use foul or rotten things in their perfumes because it lasts longer and elicits certain pheromone responses out of the nostrils?
This show is brought to you by Expedia. That's right, the place you go to go places. We're your hosts. I'm Travis Kelce. This is my big brother, Jason Kelce.
Hey.
Jason always knows a little bit too much about everything. And you just caught that firsthand here in the early stages of this interview.
I know just enough to be dumb enough.
Yeah, there we go. You gotta love it, man. I don't have a script in front of me, so I think this is where I say follow the show on all social media at New Heights with one S for fun clips throughout the week. And Jason is now going to tell you what we have coming up this week.
That's right, 92%ers. We've got another great episode. Yeah! We are ending this season with an all-time guest, the most accomplished, greatest football player in the history of the game. Season finale. Tom Brady is on the show! Yeah!
Oh, you talking about Tom Brady?
That's right. All you Patriots that love Travis Kelce, Tom Brady's coming on the show. You're going to love it.
Hey, Pats
And,
fans.
yeah, let's get into some new news. Before we get to that. All right, new news brought to you by American Express. It's the end of the road. The season is finally done. This season is finally done of New Heights. Do you have a favorite highlight?
I mean, the live show is it's
it just happened.
It's fresh, but god damn, that was a fucking fun
It
one,
was.
man.
It was a great job. Shout out to Amazon. Shout out to Enterprise. Everybody who helped put that thing on, the set design. It was so much fun. I didn't know I was going to work out. Yeah. We were talking, the whole team. We were talking, we're going to have a soccer goal up there. We're going to have a basketball hoop. We're going to have turf. I'm like, how the fuck is this going to work? And it ended up going off without a hitch, surprisingly.
And thankfully, you actually dunked, which...
Was it an actual dunk? Does that actually...
No, it was 100% actual dunk. It was 100%. You've done it. You've dunked. You have done it. So you dunked, and on top of that, you stoned Alex Morgan. So
Pregnant Alex Morgan.
Which was a little bit of a low blow, but you know what? You got to take your chance when you can.
Listen, Tim coached me, and he said, you got to get in their head. I got the bobsled suit out, so that threw her out of her game right away. And then it was also a shorter net, so I didn't have to leap as far.
Alex went up there like, all right, I'm just going to fire one in. Hopefully he doesn't. And you fucking full on.
Oh, I went all. I'm going.
Guess the right side. Airborne. There's got to be a slow mo.
The look on Alex's face.
Somebody's got to have a slow mo of that.
The funniest part was the reaction from the crowd. They didn't know whether to cheer or not. Like, ooh.
And you get up like you won the Super Bowl.
I just stopped a fucking penalty kick from a fucking World Cup champion, the best goal scorer in U.S. women's history.
That's crazy. Right. You're hilarious. I'm sorry for my brother, Alex. I'm sorry.
And I get to say that the first time I ever dunked a basketball was in the Orpheum Theater in front of thousands of people.
With an alley-oop.
From Will Ferrell. It's insane.
What life are we living?
Couldn't have happened in a better way.
It's been a hell of a year.
When's the first time you dunked? Roxborough Middle School?
Roxborough Middle School, yeah. Like 8th grade.
That was probably pretty cool,
5'11".
Too. Yeah.
Just kind of just
daily
casually.
throw the alley-oop?
I mean, yeah, it was daily, yeah. No, we were, man, it's so long ago. I think I remember being in a drenched sweat. Like I had gym class, I had been trying to do this for my entire time in gym class.
Yeah.
And I finally got it. Very similar to you. Not as much pull on the rim, but flushed it in,
Flushed it in. Good penultimate step.
Yeah. No, I was a 1 foot jumper back then.
1 foot?
Yeah.
Not so left or right?
Start from the fucking rafters and just
build up as much speed as possible. All right, well, we will be back for season 5 with all new episodes starting September 2nd. Travis is off to training camp. For everybody that is new to the show, we take this time off because Travis is way too busy to record a podcast. He's getting ready for an NFL season, and we do not have the time. Training camp at the NFL. He's going to go to St. Joe's University.
St. Joe, Missouri. Missouri Western State University.
Not St. Joe, Philadelphia, St. Joe, Missouri.
Shout out to the Griffins.
And where they will be, knee deep in sweat and all sorts of other bodily fluids that nobody else wants to be around.
What? How is that?
All day. They'll sleep together. They might, play tummy sticks. I don't know what might happen. It's
tummy sticks? That sounds like a Philly thing. We never had that.
You never did that?
No, we never played tummy sticks. What's that?
You're missing out.
guy's insane.
Stick around to the end of the episode for some exclusive clips from our live show. We are ending the season with some of our favorite live No Dumb Questions.
Nice. Ending the season with Tom Brady, pretty epic.
Yes.
Starting it with Taylor, pretty epic.
Yeah.
And
epic.
the start of, like, during that recording, the entire time I'm planning, like, I'm going to ask this woman to marry me after this. So, yeah, those were probably two other, like, really cool moments of this season.
Yeah.
Obviously, the beginning of it with Taylor is one I'll remember forever. So,
Well, I mean, it's by far our most viewed episode of all time.
yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah. It was incredible. I've never been more nervous.
What was one that sticks out to you throughout the year? Can't use either one of mine. Put his ass on the spot. Ugh. We had a lot of good ones, Jason.
I know, we did
Just
have a
use
lot
your
of good
brain.
ones.
Use your brain.
What would what is going to be even comparable to the two that you just named? I don't know.
I mean, we did a lot of actors.
DiCaprio's kind of nuts.
Dude, I like there are, but I can't
George
like
Clooney. I don't know.
George
Just, like, some of your
Clooney,
favorites.
Affleck. Do we have Sandler on again?
Yeah.
No. That was the previous one.
Yeah.
Will was the previous one, or he went on this show?
No, that was previous.
God damn it.
Jackass.
Johnny Knoxville. That's another one. Very current.
Allen, Riggle, Hart, The
Hedger.
Rock,
Dude,
Keanu
that-
Reeves, Allen Iverson,
God damn.
Teller, Aaron Andrews, Kristen Thompson,
From the
Jesus
rafters,
Christ.
this has been a hell of a year.
Kylie again, multiple times. Kylie.
I mean, I talk to her every day.
Don't you do that to Kylie.
Randy Moss, Jameis
You should be
Winston.
lucky you get to talk to Kylie every day.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston was great. I mean, there's Gosling. They're all so good.
Greg and George.
Conan.
Conan. God damn. Yeah, there's too many. I don't even know where to go.
Oh,
with
nice. That was a fun little
Yeah.
memory lane there for season. What is this? 4?
4. We're going
Nice.
on to 5.
There
Yeah.
we go. This time's flying.
The Riggle and Hart going back and forth was one of my. That was a very fun
That was a
moment.
blast.
They were
God
they were
damn it.
great together.
Riggle and Kevin Hart, man.
Yeah.
That was too funny. The Fixins, man.
Yeah, the fixes. Well, that's it for new news brought to you by American Express. It's time, Travis, to toss it to our guest. You wanna
Let's
the
do it.
honors? Yeah,
Toss it to old Tom Brady. Jason, you want to do the intro?
sure. This conversation is brought to you by Xfinity. Howdy, our guest today is the 6'4" quarterback from the University of Michigan. The 199th pick of the 2000 NFL Draft, 15-time Pro Bowler, 2009 NFL Comeback Player of the Year, 3-time NFL MVP, only starting quarterback to win the Super Bowl in both the AFC and the NFC.
shit.
He's got 7 Super Bowl championships, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, 92%ers. Please welcome the most decorated man in the history of our game, Tom Brady!
We got the go.
Yes.
Man, I gotta hire you to come on the road with me. I've never had an intro like that. I've done a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I've never had an intro like that.
Hey, just
Only the best
sign
for
me
you,
up,
big
baby.
dog.
Sign me up.
Only the best for you,
Man.
big dog. We got to settle it right here, right now. Though you're 1-1 against the Kelce brothers in the Super Bowl, dog. How do we figure this out? How do we break the tie? We got to
I
get
don't
out on the
know.
golf course somewhere. We got to get a few drinking games going. What do we got to do?
I think we should. I'm definitely down for some golf with you too. You know I love that. Although Trav, I have seen your swing, and I'm afraid that like you would just roll over me. I mean, you got that thing down. Jay, I don't know. You probably have had a little more time post career, but
No.
Trav's got a ridiculous golf swing.
Trav is very, I keep telling people, he's going to be a plus handicap when he really gets done playing. He's a stick.
Yeah.
And he just got this new driver. We played at Bel Air yesterday, smoking it. Like 360. I'm like, what
Damn.
Same driver, new flight. It's
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just going straight.
You've had a unique athleticism, Trav. I will say that.
I
like,
appreciate
you know, silky smooth route runner, like incredible feel out there. Like, I think if I played with you, you would have had 110, 120 a year. And not that you don't have that with Patrick, but I liked your style of play because I feel like there was a way you ran routes and you always had an ability to like, you know, feel the coverage and then turn in when they told you to turn up, but who cared because you're open. And Julian did that a little for me. Wes did that a lot for me. Some guys don't really have that feel, but
Oh yeah.
I just watch you play, and I'm like, yeah, like that, just like that.
I appreciate that, big guy. And I definitely took a lot of like notes from Jules and Edelman and even Gronk on. I mean, watching you guys were unbelievable at being on the same page.
Yeah.
And you could just tell you guys were in sync, and the guys that were running the routes were that even if they made a decision that wasn't, you know, so-called in the playbook, essentially, it felt like everybody was always friendly and making it definitive enough for you. And but hey, I appreciate that, big dog. He's more of a, he's the kind of guy that
I feel like Jason had the same, in his own way, like the center style of play, his own unique way of getting the job done. And Jay, you probably weren't the biggest guy, but you always played with great leverage. Always, the communication was probably on point. I don't think I would have motherfucked you very often. I motherfucked the centers a lot, but you, I feel like you would have gone right back at me, and I'd have been stuck because I'd have been like, oh shit, he's probably right.
No, I listen, we talked about this earlier this year. I know you're being funny a little bit, but we were just talking about being on the same page. And so we were talking training camp earlier. Tom and the Patriots had a joint practice with us early on, and he talking about motherfucking people. We're having the Patriots come in, and the biggest thing we took away was the leadership and ownership that Tom took over everything. And this is just in like a training camp practice. And like, hey, motherfucker, come in motion. Like he was yelling at guys, not going in motion, not doing the right thing. You could tell you guys were so dialed in as a group, and it all started with you. And I would have gladly been motherfucked, to be honest with you.
That's the thing. You gotta be willing to get motherfucked out here, man. You gotta be willing to.
No problem.
That's why I love having my guy Eric Bieniemy back in the building, man, because guys are getting motherfucked all over the field, and all of a sudden you get a little bit more of a sense of urgency going, and you get a little more focused in, like, oh shit, I can't be the one getting motherfucked today. Like,
I know. And Trav, I think that was kind of like when I started, that was the norm for football players, like high school, college, pros. It was all about like
old school ball coach.
Where's the urgency to get it right? And Bill would always say something really good to us as a team. He'd always come in and say, you know, you have Wednesday practice, Thursday practice, Friday. He would say, you know, come in on Wednesday morning, be like, listen, don't go out there and mess up a bunch of things today. We can't do them over on Thursday. We got a whole nother pile of, you know, stuff to put in Thursday. And then on Friday, same thing, like lock in, today's a big day. And that just created always this urgency for our team. And I felt like, you know, I took a lot of things away from my time in New England. And, you know, obviously I thought I had like a lot like you guys, you know, you have great teammates and you have people that are going to be friends for life because you were all doing this really challenging thing together. But there was like an urgency, whether it was May to have the best OTA we could have or end of July when we had our first training camp. Like we had to have great practices every day because the competition is year round in the NFL. And if we were going to beat the other good teams, well, they were having good practices. So we needed to have a good practice. And just day in and day out, I think there was definitely a stress to it. There was an intensity of stress to practice. Like I can't go out there and just, you know, suck today at practice because I set the tone for the whole team. So I developed like this competitive urgency within myself. And you can feel that certainly all those years in, Jay, when we would come and practice against you guys. But I was locked in and I just felt like if I did that, well, then the other guys had to do it. And if they had to do it, then the coaches had to do it. And then it just kind of volleyed off one another. And, you know, we didn't win them all, but you know, we were competitive probably in most, you know, in almost all the games I played. And I think it was for those reasons.
Hell yeah. Being able to challenge that fucking inner competitor every fucking day and about every single detail. That's, I mean, you're doing that in the dog days, man. That's just going to show up in the fucking games for sure.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. When your best player is the guy that is doing all this and he cares that much and he's holding, that's the guy who usually sets the standard. And if he's just naturally that gifted and he doesn't have all these other things that all these other guys also need to be applying, and whether it's the time in studying, the time in knowing what you're doing, the time in communicating, all that stuff, that's got to be from the top down. And when the quarterback does it, it just makes all the difference. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Expedia.
Summer is in full swing, and if you haven't booked your next trip yet, now's the time.
That's right. Maybe it's a spontaneous weekend getaway or that big vacation you've been putting off. Expedia makes it easy. That's right. Flights, hotels, vacation rentals, cars, activities, all in one place.
And when you bundle, you can save up to 30%. Everything you need in one app.
Well, some of the best trips are the ones you didn't plan. Just a spark of an idea that turns into something unforgettable.
That's the beauty of having everything in one app. You can go from an idea to booked in minutes. No jumping in between sites, no hassle.
Savings vary.
Expedia, the one place you go to go places.
Thank you to our partner, American Express.
Doesn't matter what you've got planned, a good summer should feel like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, 100%. This time of year is all about finding new places to visit, cities to explore, and rooms to sleep a little later in.
With vacation season in full swing, we know good travel and finding great stays should feel simple. That's why you reach for the American Express Platinum Card.
That's right. Card members get access to the largest curated global hotel program as compared to other credit card programs with special benefits as of July 2025.
Ultimate comfort wherever you're headed? That's what I'm talking about.
With premium travel benefits and award-winning service, there's nothing like Platinum.
Terms apply. Learn more at go.amex/withplatinum.
Thank you to our partner, Xfinity.
If you're a soccer fan, summer means one thing. The game is on. And when the game is on, it's time to host, whether it's in your living room or out on the patio.
That's where Xfinity comes in. Their fiber-powered gig Wi-Fi is so reliable, you can literally host the world at your place and not miss a single moment.
Not a single moment. We're talking low lag, zero stress, just pure uninterrupted action from kickoff to the final whistle.
Get Xfinity gig Wi-Fi to stream and host a beautiful game all summer long. Every match, every highlight, every dramatic penalty shootout.
Plus, now you can lock your price for 5 years. Guaranteed.
So, get your crew together, fire up the big screen, and let Xfinity handle the Wi-Fi. Head to xfinity.com/soccer to learn more.
Restrictions apply. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. We gonna get Mendoza out there motherfucking some guys or what?
Hey!
I know. I think it's in them. I think it's
hell yeah, man.
mother fricking them.
Yeah,
or whatever.
motherfucker. There we go.
I mean, we'll get it out of them somehow.
Hell yeah, man.
It won't take that long in the NFL to be like, all right, this is the way stuff gets done, and this is the urgency I got to create.
Mother freaking them is so good, man.
I think too, Trav, like if you think about it, a lot of guys have had so many people tell them how good they are. And again, something that's unique in the NFL, like you're a high school player, you're probably the best player on your team. So it all goes pretty well. Then you go to college and you're probably one of the top 5 on your team. So everything goes pretty well. But you finally get to the pros. You got an agent that tells you how good you are all the time. Mm-hmm. You have a significant other that tells you how good you are. You have a mom that tells you how good you are. You have a dad. So in the end, who really tells you the truth? Yeah. And who tells you where you need to get better? And that's the role of the head coach. Like he has to be the one that says, I don't give a shit what, the blog says or the daily writer. I care about what I think because it's my vision for the team. And again, I was blessed to have Coach Belichick, who I believe is the greatest head coach of all time. I think Andy's like that to a degree. Same. I know he's a different style, but there's part of it that position, like you can't be like, hey man, let's go out there and have a great day. Like we're gonna have so much fun. And like, something goes wrong and it's like, oh, don't worry, we'll fix it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And like everyone leaves every day feeling like they were great and they did great. But the reality is they're not really prepared for what's coming on Sunday because NFL football is hard. Yeah. And to beat the Chiefs or to beat the Eagles in a Super Bowl is hard. If you play one of the best teams in the league, and in this instance, like I played both you guys in Super Bowl, you better play every play great to give yourself a chance. If you play 20% of those plays poorly, you're not going to win. Yeah. And why waste all the time through April, through May, through June? There's a big commitment to make that everybody sacrifices if you're not going to go out there to try to beat the best teams. Right. You can play pretty average against the teams that don't really have a chance. But the teams that are really great, the 6 or 8 every year that have a chance, you better have an urgency to beat those teams because that's the real competition in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. God, Tom's getting me fired up.
I told you, dude. It's something about it. I mean, you talk about maximize your opportunity. I mean, you had the greatest statistical performance ever by a quarterback in the Super Bowl when you played us. Nick Foles caught some type of magical thing. Yeah. I don't really know what was happening with Nicky that day, but he was on fire. But What was that like? Having
It
that
still
kind
it
of
still goes
shootout?
down as my favorite football game ever to be
Wow.
in. Like, seriously, that game was insane to be in that stadium and watch you guys duke it out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's when you win the Super Bowl, like, I mean, you guys played better than we did that day. So there's never any, may the best team win. I always kind of say that, like, who you rooting for? May the best team win. I don't know. You guys were the best team that day. It was really hard for us because we did play good on offense. But defensively, we just couldn't figure out a way. You guys kept making big plays. The running back makes this great catch in the end zone. And,
Right.
I think it was Alshon. Was Alshon? He caught the touchdown pass.
Catches,
And we Ertz caught a touchdown pass.
He had a couple fourth down conversions. Yeah.
Yeah, you were just always one step ahead of us the whole day. And we finally caught you in the fourth quarter on a touchdown throw to Gronk.
Yep.
And then you guys got that fourth down.
Yes.
And then went down and scored. And I was like, we finally caught up. And it took us all day to catch up. And when in the NFL, when you're behind, you do feel like you're unsettled. You never feel in control if you're behind in a game.
Right.
In that game, we were basically behind the entire day. So even on the bench, and even though we were moving the ball well, I still felt like we were not in control of the game. And then all of a sudden, we finally got the lead. And then you guys went right down the field, scored, and then Brandon Graham made a great rush on Shaq and strip sacked me, and that was it.
I mean, you talk about feeling uneasy, being behind. We were ahead, and I was uneasy because I saw you on the other sideline. And I'm like, if there's one guy that's good playing from behind, this is the guy. So, like, what do you think about your career? I don't know that there's anybody. I mean, Pat is certainly up there in like the 2-minute plays, but
Oh yeah.
What do you think made you so good in those situations?
First of all, I had great teammates that played great in those situations, and we worked on it. We practiced, we walked through, and there's always something nice about 2-minute. In some ways, it gives the quarterback a lot of rhythm to play in when things are going well, when you're in a good rhythm in 2-minute, because it's not like they can run a lot of variety of defenses. And I was all about preparation. So I felt like if I could get you into a 2-minute situation and I could get you to play defense and I could get you the clock running and you would have to signal, and like I would be like, all right, I'm gonna snap it before they're ready and let's hit some completions. And again, I just push our guys to constantly, I was gonna find the open receiver because I could read coverages really well, and I was always gonna try to throw to the soft spot of the defense. I mean, my biggest weakness was my lack of mobility and my lack of ability to scramble and make a play. And in many ways that turned into the best thing that I did, which was force me to over prepare, to read defenses and to throw to open guys. Like I didn't have the option to like pull it down and run. So I had to make sure we had guys open before the ball was snapped. So I was constantly looking at the coverage. I was constantly seeing the defensive scheme and then trying to, get our guys in the best position. And I would throw it, Gronk would catch it. I would throw it, Jules would catch it. I would throw it, Danny would catch it. I would throw it. List goes on. I mean, I played with so many great players, but it was really a great unit. And, that was some of the best part of football, was just 2-minute drives. And it was a chance for you to go out and be like, all right, game's on the line, man. This is what we do in the schoolyard, but game's on the line. Let's see what we got.
Well, in that game, the BG sacks, but even after that, you guys got the ball back. And up until that ball fell on the ground, that last Hail Mary attempt, I'm still like, dude, Tom could still find a way to get this done. Like, I'm not even believing it was over then. But let's get to some of the good stuff. 7-time Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
Oldest Super Bowl champion, I believe. Is that correct? Oldest starting quarterback Super Bowl champion.
No, I saw it firsthand.
Do you have a favorite one? What is your favorite?
Yeah, do you got a favorite one out of all of them?
I don't want to sound arrogant because that's not. I would say they're all different, first of all, and they're all different, meaningful because they're kind of tell a different story.
Oh yeah.
I think one that was like the 2014 one against the Seahawks. You'd probably say like the Atlanta one where we came back from all those, down a bunch of points. But the one, I won 3 really early, and it was kind of like, what's so hard about the NFL? I sound like a little dick. I mean, no idea. I mean, it was like I went to Michigan. We were good in Michigan, and I won 2 bowl games. And then I got to the pros. My first year, we won the Super Bowl. And then, my next year we didn't. And then we won 2 back-to-back. So I was kind of like, Like, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to start the season, work hard, and then win. That's okay, big deal.
Nice.
But then we lost in 2007 to the Giants. Then we lost in 2011 to the Giants. And then we played Seattle in the 2014. So we'd gone 10 years, and I had 3 times we won it. Then I had 2 where we lost it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man. And then 2014 came, and we're going against the Legion of Boom, and we're down, I think, 10 in the fourth quarter, 10 in the fourth quarter. Right. And then we end up having just the most incredible, last 20 minutes of the game. Defense played incredible. I mean, that stop down at the goal line, it went from like, again, we were losing for most of the game. We finally got a lead in the fourth quarter. They drove right down the field. And then Dante Hightower made one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history, tackling Marshawn, getting blocked, had like one shoulder out, somehow got Marshawn on the ground, which like 10 guys can't get Marshawn on the ground. Exactly. Dante did it with like one shoulder.
Yeah.
And then Malcolm makes one of the greatest defensive plays in the history of football. And everyone after the game talked about, not handing the ball to Marshawn. I was like, how about that play by Malcolm
Let's
Butler
celebrate
to
this
pull
play.
the trigger?
Yeah.
Yeah, to pull the trigger on that as a rookie, to like go over the top of the pick and the acceleration burst, and then
get there.
It was all or nothing. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm a receiver and I come out of a break, I'm always trying to minimize the opportunity for the defender to beat my angle.
Yeah, he's got to go through you to get to the ball.
He's got to go through me. That's a part of my size and my strength in being a pass catcher. And I thought he had a good angle coming in. Now, maybe he could have gone in there with a little bit more tempo, but it's kind of like one of those plays where it's like the RPOs, you want to kind of come in with some, whatever it was. But I thought the angle was good, and Malcolm just fucking shot it, man. And that goes to like I'm sure the film breakdowns and all the.
I love the story behind it. They talked about prepping for that exact situation before it happened. I don't know if that was like in a 30 for 30 or where I saw Bill talking about that, but I love when the preparation carries over, and then, I mean, the moment there, I mean, you could not have a bigger moment for a young player to really go out of his way to take a chance. And
Tom, I've always wanted to ask you this, because you have this ability, and we kind of talked about it before, about just like the rhythm in which you always commanded the offense. It's just, you feel like you've always got control of the game, and everybody's kind of going at your rhythm. Was there a point in your career where you started to understand that, or was it always just kind of within your preparation how you guys ran the offense?
My college experience was really unique. My first 3 years, I didn't play at all at Michigan. And again, if I was around these days, I probably would have transferred to another school, because, it was simple to do. But, Michigan was a really tough experience in terms of I had to grow up. I didn't have brothers. I had 3 sisters. I was the youngest. I got babied by my mom. I got babied by my dad. I got babied by my sisters. I go to Michigan, which is a long way from California. It's freezing cold. I didn't have a jacket when I went there. And I sit on the bench my first year, and I really had, I would call it like a lot of self-defeating attitudes and behaviors. I always had an excuse. I always had, coach doesn't want me in there.
They creep in real easy.
Yeah. They're not giving me the opportunity. And I had a sports psychologist who, unfortunately, he passed away about a year ago. His name was Greg Harden. And he started really psychology on me. And I would go into his office every Tuesday, and he would say, Tom, I like you, you work hard, but like, you have a shitty attitude. And how about you start worrying about what you can control, and stop talking about the other quarterbacks. Stop talking about the coaches not putting you in. How about you take advantage of the opportunities you get? And every time you go in there, you bring energy, you bring enthusiasm. If they give you 3 reps, you do the best with the 3 you get. Quit bitching about you only getting 3, or you going in there with the backup receivers. No one cares. You go in there, you bring energy, you treat practice like it's a game. You go out to that practice field like it's the big house and you're playing Ohio State. If you throw a touchdown in the 2-minute in practice, you celebrate like it's the game.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, well, I never approached like that. And he goes, you're going to gain, a lot of trust and a lot of confidence from your teammates if you start treating that way, because it's going to improve your play. Sure enough, my energy started getting way better. I was bringing juice. I had the right attitude. And then it started to improve. And my second year, it got way better. My third year, I competed with Brian Greasy to be the starter. Brian beat me out. Our team went undefeated, won the national championship. But I learned a lot. I watched Brian be a great leader. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, fuck, I'm bringing the juice, man, every day. Boom, I'm bringing that practice. I'm bringing it. Yeah, every day. And that's what I did. And then I was pretty good, my fourth and fifth year. Then I went to the pros. And again, the pros is like, everyone is like, hey, man, it's a good day. Like, don't cover me on scout team. And here comes Tom Brady, scout team quarterback, and I'm trying to beat up the defense.
Yeah.
And that really helped me. Again, that helped me get better. And then finally going into my second year, I won the backup job because I was so competitive and I was so fiery, and no one was going to unseat Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
He signed a 10-year, $100 million contract in 2001.
All right, now.
I mean, that was a lot of money. It hurt in the second game, and I came on. And I remember the defensive players like Willie McGinnis would come up to me and Lawyer Malloy, and they'd be like, Tommy, man, you just keep doing what you're doing, man. So they could just sense that there was a part of me that really loved it. I was obsessed with the sport. I loved the practicing. And then I loved the leadership part, and I really loved the preparation. Then I got really into the game. And Peyton Manning was the guy that I always looked up to, as a kind of a rival, because I thought he was the epitome of a field general. He got his team in the right play, and then I watch him, and he's throwing for all these touchdowns every year. So it was like, if I could get the mental part right, I was getting good at the emotional, the competitive stamina, the leadership. And then my physical body started to catch up to me. And then it kind of all came together. And I would say 2003, I started to turn into what I would become. Yeah. But it was a process. It was I would say it was definitely built by, a lot of people that supported me in the journey. And then I was just really open to learning. I was curious about everything. And then I wanted to go out there and be my very best. And so it's just a progression of a lot of things, a lot of people, and then kind of putting it all to use.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I love that story from college, man. It resonates so much, not only with me, but I've seen guys not handle that conversation the right way. It's easy to be negative and to not only just point fingers, but to look at what's going on around you and create an excuse. But in the reality of things, if you come in with the right fucking mindset and the right energy, man, one is you're going to enjoy what you do 10 times more. But then on top of that, it's infectious, man. That energy is infectious. Everywhere you've gone, you've had success, and you've been a part of more than just yourself in bringing wins and everything like that. But those memories that you create because of the energy and the mindset that you bring into the building, that's what the teammates and the people you go to work with are going to remember you most for.
Well, it's also a productive mindset for a player. Yeah, this is always one of the things that really sucks when you start losing games and you see the finger pointing start, or hey, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, and you have to try and remain dude, just control what you can control. Be the best center you can be, and if you can be a way to help somebody by putting them in a better situation, being a great teammate, but dude, and do your job. I know that was Bill's main thing forever.
Totally.
But when you're thinking about all these reasons that are outside of your control, what the fuck good is that doing anybody? It's so pointless. It is so pointless.
There was a great quote that, I saw that was every brick in the road that you put down is an opportunity for you to travel that road to be successful. But every brick you put in a wall is just an excuse that blocks your opportunity to get to where you want to get to go.
I love that.
And I think you create excuses, and they're very built in. And again, think about how we're living these days, with these guys that come in, that everybody, their agents, their mom, dad, their sisters, their brothers, they're willing. Okay, you lose a game, and losing sucks. It feels horrible for all of us. And it's amazing to have the support from people to come in and go, hey man, it's not your fault. It was the defense's fault. Right. Not your fault. It was the coach's fault. Not your fault. It was the ref's fault. Not your fault. And the reality is maybe that helps for 5 seconds. But in the end, it doesn't change any of the outcomes. And I always feel if you really want to grow up, just take it all on yourself. Just say, no, it's my fault. I got to do better. Yeah. I got to do better. I got to, I heard Wemby talk the other day after the game, and he said and they had a great finals. It was, it was a tough game. Yeah. Fucking Knicks were on fire. They won however many, 15 to 16 playoff games.
Were
13 or 14. Insane. And then, there was a part of Wemby said, we dominated every game. And I'm it's not the point.
Yeah.
I want to just, and I love Wemby. Don't get me wrong. I love him. He is the most mature, he's going to have a tremendous career. But it's also like, I always think when I see people talk, how would I answer that question?
Mm-hmm.
And the reality for everybody is like, they were better than we were.
Yeah.
And we got to do a better job. That's simple. Like that's actually very motivating.
Yeah.
Like they were better. We need to do better. Great. That's what it takes to win a championship. You know, we were better. You guys were better than us, Jason, when we played you. Trav, like we had a better day than you. It actually doesn't mean we're a better team. We had a better day.
But it sparks a fire if you have the right approach. Like that game, I took the same approach in my mind. Like it doesn't matter what the team did. What could I have done better that day to be more accountable, to light a fire in my team, to create a better whatever it was on the side, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like you immediately have to look at yourself in the mirror and aggressively attack yourself, you know, and it'll make you feel better knowing that, you know, you dissected and you've done even more to better yourself, to be more prepared, to be more accountable. You'll feel better about the next opportunity.
Yeah.
And even as it translates, and for both you guys, you know, Jay, you retired, Travis, you know, at some point you will, but like all that does translate into other parts of your life beyond. Yeah, I know.
I'm never doing it.
Keep going, baby. Keep going. to the last moment, literally to the last moment. But like, I've been around great entrepreneurs as well. And I would say that attitude where they put everything back on themselves makes them very successful in business too.
Yeah.
So like people I've seen, and very fortunate again to be around some amazing businessmen. And like, I see the way they approach that way, and they're like, I got to do better. I got to motivate him more. I got to do this. I got to get on the floor. I got to understand that better. I got to make that decision. And I would sit there going, oh my, that sounds like the crazy part that I was.
Right.
But that's actually the only way it works.
Yep.
You know, it's the only way that businesses work. It's the only way relationships work. It's the only way football teams work. It's the only way hockey teams work. It's like everyone work hard, have humility, have self-awareness, know you could do better. Believe me, football, how many games have you guys walked out of and go, well, I was perfect today. Like, man, that was basically 100%.
Game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not a single game.
You know, we all have the opportunity to be better.
Well, let's talk about some teammates of yours, big guy. I gotta hear you talk about Gronk, man. He's been one of my favorite players since he's gotten to the league. Your guys' chemistry is unbelievable. Just how he enjoys the game and how he lives life, man. I've always admired the guy from a distance, man. But what was your first impression of Gronk when he got to New England?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, there was like a big expectation of our team when he got there. Like we had like a good 10-year run. And I think we needed a big refresh of energy. And Gronk brought it. He was like free, fun-loving. Like, you know, Gronk, you know, how he is and how you see him anywhere is how he's one of the most authentic people you'll ever be around.
Yeah.
And like football's hard, you know, but Gronk always found a way to bring, you know, kind of light to it. And Gronk was really unique. You know, I think Gronk was the greatest blocking tight end in history.
Man.
Yeah.
Gronk could handle defensive ends. He was at the point of attack in the run game. Like, we didn't care. We would rather go to Gronk than the open side tackle a lot of
That's
times.
crazy. Yeah.
And so that's a really underrated part of his game.
Yeah.
And then as a pass catcher, you know, he was never going to be like the twitchiest. So, but his straight line, when he would run seam routes or,
Rolling.
you know, middle reads or flat routes, he was off the chart. So there was just part of his game that was, it was very natural for him. He was really a natural athlete. And I think our environment kind of kept him really serious, which I think that's probably a good thing for him in the end. Because I think if he was on another team where the coach let him get away with a lot of stuff, Gronk maybe would have veered a little that way. But I think our team kind of made him, you know, a little more confined, and he still had a great time. But man, I think he
Few
really
more
maximized his
motherfucks in New England than other
Oh my
places,
God.
I'm sure.
I know.
Here's your script, built entirely on verified, real events. The proposal, the wedding, and the genuine family bond with Jason's daughters. No headings, just one continuous flowing narration, ready to record. Picture this: a backyard in Lee's Summit, Missouri. Flowers everywhere, strung up like something out of a fairy tale, and a man who has spent his entire career being fearless in front of 80,000 screaming fans, sitting there, nervous. Not because of a game, not because of a playoff, but because in a few hours, he's going to ask the biggest question of his life. That man is Travis Kelce. And what almost nobody knew, until just days ago, is that he had been planning this moment for an entire year, hiding it in plain sight, right in front of millions of people. Because here's the twist nobody saw coming. Back in August of 2025, when Taylor Swift walked into the New Heights podcast studio to sit down with Travis and his brother Jason, the world thought they were just watching a fun, buzzy interview. 13 million views in 24 hours. The biggest live podcast audience YouTube had ever seen. Everyone was talking about the album announcement, the track list, the excitement in her voice. But Travis wasn't just doing an interview. He said it himself, months later, sitting across from his brother on that very same show. During that recording, the entire time, I'm planning. I'm gonna ask this woman to marry me after. Can you imagine that? Sitting there, laughing, joking, talking about music, all while your heart is pounding because you know that the moment the cameras stop rolling, you're about to change your life forever. And that's exactly what he did. The second they wrapped, he walked her into that backyard he'd secretly transformed into what looked like a secret garden. And he got down on one knee. The ring wasn't just any ring either. An old mine brilliant cut diamond, set in yellow gold, with delicate filigree engravings, designed with a jeweler he trusted to get every detail right. Because when you love someone that much, even the smallest details matter. And when they announced it to the world, they didn't do it with some grand press release. Just a simple caption. Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. Something so simple, so human, so them. And it broke the internet. It became one of the most liked posts in the history of Instagram. But here's what really gets me. This wasn't some whirlwind romance built on cameras and headlines. By the time Travis proposed, he and Taylor had already spent 2 years quietly building something real, something rooted in family. And if you want to understand why this love story feels different, you have to look at Jason Kelce's 3 little girls. Because long before any of us knew about engagement rings or wedding venues, Taylor Swift was already sewing. Children's purses, baby blankets, little gifts made with her own 2 hands for Jason and Kelce's daughters. She was baking with them. She was in their kitchen on a sourdough kick, teaching them things, laughing with them, showing up not as a global superstar, but as family, as the woman their Uncle Travis loved. There's this one story that always gets me, the girls insisting to Taylor that their dad was wrong, that cats aren't actually dangerous, and Taylor playing along, treating their little world with the same seriousness she'd give a sold-out stadium. That's not something you fake. That's not something you do for cameras. That's what real love looks like when nobody's watching. And then came July 3rd, 2026. Madison Square Garden, a place built for legends, for roaring crowds, for moments that echo through history. And on that night, it wasn't a football game or a concert filling those seats. It was 1,000 of the people who love them most, watching Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce become husband and wife. Think about that. The same arena that has seen championship banners raised, that has seen music icons perform to sold-out crowds, became the place where a love story that started with a friendship bracelet and a podcast finally found its ending. Or maybe I should say, its beginning. The night before, they gathered 100 of their closest friends and family for an intimate rehearsal dinner. And then, on the big day, everyone came. Sabrina Carpenter, Ed Sheeran, Selena Gomez, Gigi Hadid, so many familiar faces, but underneath all that star power was something much simpler. 2 families becoming one. And what strikes me most, what really sits with me, is that just days after the wedding, sitting there with his brother on their podcast, Travis didn't want to talk about the ceremony, or the guest list, or the dress. He wanted to talk about that single moment in the backyard. He called it, in his own words, one I'll remember forever. Not the wedding with 1,000 guests. Not the biggest pop star in the world walking down the aisle. The quiet moment before all of that, when it was just the 2 of them, and a promise. Because that's the truth about real love, isn't it? It's not about the size of the stage. It's about the person who plans a proposal for an entire year, hiding his nerves behind a smile, just to make sure the moment is perfect for the one person he can't imagine his life without. And somewhere in Philadelphia, 3 little girls are probably still talking about their Aunt Taylor, the one who sews them purses and bakes with them and swears cats aren't poisonous. Because to them, she was never a celebrity. She was family, long before the world ever called her a bride. If this story moved you even a little, make sure you're subscribed, because there are so many more moments like this one still waiting to be told.